Good work.
Yeah, and I did. Yeah.
That's fine.
Most of them.
Call meeting to order. We'll have a pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Bruner. English.
Here.
Farner.
Here.
Heltzley. Here. Voigt.
Here.
Zuber. Jennings.
Here. First item of business is public comment, and we're going to try to limit that to 5 minutes for anybody that wants. Public comment.
I have comments I'll provide to the board and to the clerk at the end. But my comments this evening are in regards to the management at the Edgar County Airport. During the January 8th County Board meeting, I provided documents for your review and consideration. One of them was the actual grant application for the fuel farm and apron improvements that we've heard so much about. There's also a copy of a FOIA request that I had sent Jimmy Wells, including his request for a 5-day extension from nearly a month earlier. You may not be aware of this, but the 5th day arrived before his resignation letter was voted on. Since that time, Augie and other board members have received my renewed FOIA request and provided what answers they could. I do appreciate the efforts of the county clerk staff, county board members, and those of Dale Barkley in searching for this information. I understand the files in the office of the airport were in great disarray, and it was quite a job to find the information. There are a few things I would like to point out. First, I did not receive complete information on all of the 35 planes alleged to be present at the Edgar County Airport. In some cases, no information was available. In fact, documents provided were dated November 2013, a full 9 months after the application was provided to the Bureau of Aeronautics. I'm convinced those documents were not used in Mr. Wells' justifications. Tonight I'm providing you, and this will be on the back page for those of you that have the comments, with the 31 aircraft tail numbers that were included in the county's response. Here's the short story. Experimental aircraft are not allowed to be included in project justifications. Inoperative planes are not allowed to be included in project justifications. And planes known to be stored off-site in Indiana or Illinois are not allowed to be included in project justifications. So, from an alleged presence of 35 qualified aircraft, we only have mention of 31 planes. From that same listing, we have been able to confirm that only 16 aircraft could or should be used in this project's justification. Now, there's been some speculation on airport growth and the use of inflated numbers. I have not found such a provision in the documents provided by Mr. Wells, nor where he has made that distinction, or that, if in fact it was acceptable to do so. If you take into account the aircraft loss from the airport over the past 3 months, as I have in the document provided, then you must conclude there are only 11 airplanes meeting the requirements set out by the FAA today, not 35. The growth you are hoping for may come, but from these numbers it appears it will be a while before this airport has legitimately reached its maximum capacity. I'd like to get back to some of the basics. The application provided by Jimmy Wells as a representative of Edgar County and acting on behalf of Edgar County to the Bureau of Aeronautics is completely full of lies in his imagination. It's difficult to find a single word of truth, and yet this county appears to be more than willing to embrace this trash. I'm hoping there will be a change. First, this board and this airport needs to tell the truth about everything. Apologize to Rusty's widow regarding the breastfeeding thing created by Jimmy Wells. That's a lie. Then the board needs to fix the application, revise it, and send it back to the Bureau of Aeronautics. It's nothing but lie after lie after lie. We've proven that. If you truly believe Jimmy's lies fairly represent this county in getting this grant, then don't complain when you're lied to, or when people steal from you, or when your house is broke into, or when your business is ruined or trashed by others. You deserve it. And there's one more thing. Jimmy's letter of commendation or application, or whatever the hell you choose to call it. I can only repeat the example given in the comments I made in last county board's meetings. Here's the deal. Providing a letter of recommendation to Jimmy Wells for his performance,
You have 1 minute.
thank you,
You're welcome.
is akin to recognizing the good service of a trusted bank teller after discovering thousands of dollars had been stolen by the same. Once again, this board does itself more harm than needed and debases our community by the continued deference to the facts. It all goes back to telling the truth and doing your job. This county board needs to do the job it has been elected to do. When an employee has earned a dismissal, regardless if he's your best buddy, you need to fire him. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Just anybody else? I've got a couple spares if anybody wants one.
Anybody, any other public comment?
It'll take me 5 minutes to get up here probably.
We'll,
Give me a little extra.
we'll give you that time.
One of my great peeves has been our United States government and unnecessary spending. I've belonged for several years to the Airport Boosters Club. I'm still a great airport booster. I want to see it go like crazy. I have nothing against spending money that they might need. To me, $1 million is a sizable amount of money, and there's so many things in Edgar County that could use that money and put it to really great use. I can't understand where it's gonna help our airport at this time, any at all. I don't know what the records are for the last few months, for the amount of fuel that's sold out at the airport. You may have them here. I'm not interested in it because I know it's not very much. And I've said before, I've had over 20 pilots call me from all over the United States. Not, well, just different places, and many more than that. One said he wouldn't even fly over Edgar County, let alone stop at the airport and fill up with fuel. All of these people that called me said they'd never fill up with fuel, and a lot of them have and do still. 2 pilots from Charleston just called me this past week. I was sitting at home for 7 days, never set foot outdoors, by myself with 3 cats and a puppy. And this fella called me, and it's not necessary for me to tell you his name, but he's from Charleston and was a good customer out here. The other one, that they'd had a meeting or something, had discussed the airport a little bit. But this fella is a world record stunt flyer, not the one that talked to me, it's the other one. And they both said they've never filled up with fuel here again until some really drastic changes are made in personnel and everything else. But I'm just upset at this, even the thought of spending $1 million out there. Now, there's a lot of things I think would be nice to have a credit card thing, but I heard somebody say that might cost $100,000. That seemed a little much to me, but it would, I think that'd take care of it, you know. And how often is that 1,000-gallon tank filled up with once a week, you reckon? You know, that's crazy. Probably once a year might be more nearly right. But I just can't understand it, especially with all this going on in the United States today, and then we right here in Paris, Illinois, make a move that's about as bad as any of the worst when you put them to scale. That's my thoughts on it.
Thank you.
And I said I'm still an airport booster. Anytime any of you guys want anything, I'll try to help. But this thing is a little bit beyond me. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment?
Janie Brown. And once again, I'm gonna ask all of you to do the right thing for Edgar County and start telling the truth. For some of you, I'm looking around this room and you haven't done that in the last year. Some of you have stood and lied to my face over things that you did a year ago involving the breastfeeding issue. And you know who I'm talking to, Mr. Dennis. I am tired of this. I've got a nephew that died, and I will fight till the day I die to try to find out what happened to him. He's got a little girl that misses him with all her heart. The other day she sat on her grandmother's lap, closed her eyes and says, I want my daddy to come home. I want my daddy to come home. I want my daddy to come home. I'm never letting him go to work again. Those of you that sit here and lie, I hope you don't have a peaceful night's sleep the rest of your life until you ask for forgiveness and you admit what you've done. There's more and more people learning about the lies and deceit and coming forward. Shame on all of you. It's time you do the right thing and start telling the truth.
Thank you. Any other comments? Item 5 is presentation by Jim Mills on leasing property at the airport.
Apparently he's not here yet. Oh, is he? There he is. Have a seat. This is Jim Mills. He recently sent all of us a letter. I think probably all of you have seen it. He owns Mills Turbine over in Vigo County, and he's expressed an interest in doing some work at the Edgar County Airport, leasing some property to build something, also maybe leasing the building that we got. There's numerous ideas and things that he'd like to do. He'd like to give us a little presentation so that we can kind of, maybe all of us ask some questions, and maybe he can give us an idea of what he wants, what he's thinking. And I just asked him here tonight so that we can get this started.
Hi, I'm Jim Mills. I live down in Marshall. Been aviation since 1967, I guess. Working over at Terre Haute and leased facilities and run business over there since 72, 73. Numerous operations, prop dusting, engine rebuilding, aircraft sales, and self-fuel and things like that. But when present tenant's done with that hangar out there at your airport, I'd like to lease it. I have a STC, it's kind of like a mini patent, to modify Thresh aircraft. And where I'm at in Terre Haute has some disadvantages. One, I'm pretty crowded in my present facility, and two, it's a controlled airport. And a lot of these airplanes are non-controlled or non-radioed airplanes, and you need a little off-site airport to do it. And that's about it. I just like to lease that building and see how things go. If we get along all right, I'd like to invest some more money, maybe build a building, bring some more business over. Just kind of throw some things out here and see what works for you guys, and me too. Kind of short, simple, that's about it.
You talking about 1 year lease is what you'd be,
No, I need more than that, because probably 3, with the option that we could break it, you know, with pay you so many months if we broke it early or something like that, so you have a little security. But, you know, whatever would work best for, you know, we get down and talk about it.
Jim, what type of employment would you be talking about out there? And I know you can't guarantee, but
Well, it's,
what's in your mind?
start out one of the 2 guys over here, and then, if I get this going, you understand I gotta sell this product, which I think I can, and got a lot of orders for it. But we'd like to run 3 shifts, we'd get going and run 2 or 3 guys a shift, on it, plus one person maybe oversaw things, something like that, to start with. But there's a lot of other things we could do here, but, you can start out a little bit easy.
Explain a little more about this process, this thing you're talking about.
Well, what we're basically doing now is the wings fail on these airplanes, they got a certain amount of time they have to be changed, and cost, pretty close to $100,000 to change them, and we've developed this strap, it's fail-safe strap, so if the wing did break, the wing wouldn't come off. But it's about half the price of a wing change, and it should last, pretty much the lifetime of the airplane. It's one of the things we do. We have some other STCs that where we repower airplanes. I've repowered over 300 airplanes, but take the piston engine off, put the turbine engine on. That's on the Grumman Ag catalog, and we've done several turbo thrashes and other things like that. Then I have a crop dusting business where I own 5 turbo thrashes, and we'd operate those out of here in the summer some. Now we use Paris as kind of a satellite base, but if we use it more, it'd operate more equipment out here. Of course, you pay you a fuel fee out here. I heard you guys talking about fuel or something a while ago, but we pay you royalty on the fuel, that kind of stuff. Work here.
You wouldn't, if some of the board members would want to check references, you wouldn't have a problem with that as far as like going to Holman, you said that's where you are, and or would that be a problem?
No problem, me, I've been there forever.
Yeah.
You can go to the bank, check me out if you want, that's the place I'd start.
Jim, I guess, was it Mike that mentioned to us that you might be able to do some mechanical work that, from time to time, but I guess that's something you'd ease into?
Yeah, I'd like to, once I gotta get everything in order, but I'd put a mechanic over here and do some mechanical work on some outside airplanes, things like that. It's the same, it keep busy. You know, there might be days when I mean, we'd base a mechanic over here and probably 2 to start with. Shut that off. But, I'll have a couple mechanics over here, and we'll do other things besides this. I'm the kind of guy, we start out doing one thing, but aviation just branches out, and somebody goes there and needs something fixed, we're gonna do that too. We're gonna, I don't wanna say fixed base operation, because if I do that, that entitles a whole lot of things, but we'll be there, and we'll do work, and we'll do airport work, and servicing, that kind of stuff. I mean, we just won't be a one thing kind of deal.
And you indicated when we talked to you earlier that you were not interested in just part of the thing, you want the whole main hangar.
Yeah, I'll need the hangar, because I can't, like these airplanes, when we take them apart, we can't move them, and I can't move my airplane for somebody or something like
Right.
that, you know, and
Right.
I have to operate if I got.
Because in the past, we just leased out part of the air.
But I'd like to lease the main hangar and some office space with it, that's what I'd like to do. When, the other folks are down there. I got a little bit of time, the government held me up a couple of weeks on my project, we're still going forward, but it's probably supposed to be done this week, now it looks like it's gonna be done 2 weeks from now. We're pretty much, we're doing things at Terre Haute, and getting along all right, but I'm starting to get my busy season for all my other business, and my hangar will start getting crowded again. It's like, now we've got customers airplanes sitting outside. And we very well could fly airplanes in here and do some of our hot section work stuff, it's engine work we do over here, and relieve us over there. My building over there is pretty small, but basically run about 5 businesses out of one business building, so it gets pretty crowded sometimes. I got some property down the road, it's got a couple of pretty nice sized buildings on it, I'm using that, and it's not on the airport, so you gotta kind of truck this over, and run over here, put together, it's another building would be nice. Everything we do extra like that would add extra people doing it, you know, everything goes along that way.
So you would still be at Terre Haute too?
Yeah, I can't leave there, I've got several employees up there.
How many employees do you have over there?
Around 20 or so. I at one time had as many as 100 employees over there. When I used to sell fuel, did flight instruction, and airplane, all kinds of airplane maintenance and everything else, but we gradually just brought it back as we got older, concentrated more on the meat and potatoes, economy and things, you know.
Right.
We had a large flight school in the US there, second largest in the US there for several years. 300 students at one time, 60 instructors. Times change, now you can't find them by flat.
Any other questions?
If you, you would want the whole main hangar now, how quickly do you think you'd want to transition to your own building and your own
Well,
space?
I'm gonna be here a year or so, see how we all get along, you know, see who's on first. I don't know anything about this place at all, and you guys don't know anything about me, you know? But see how things work out and get along, but I would be interested in building a building here in a space. I've got a building, I own my own airport at Danville, I built a half-mile strip up there myself, 120 by 70 hangar on it to operate out of, and if I don't come here, I'm gonna buy some land around here and put another building strip here to operate out of, so. But this airport's nice, it's got a lot of stuff out there going for it.
If you have, you have that option, what size building are you talking about? Have you got your mind around what you'd be talking about if you wanted to build something out there?
If I build something, probably it's gonna be at least 100 feet wide, probably 100, 120 deep, something like that. I mean, that's roughly the kind of building you like to build.
What would be the biggest aircraft that you think you'd have to have room for?
Well, basically King Airs and 300s, 200s, things like that, they're the biggest turboprops going. But the small jets will fit in that kind of thing.
But nothing like a medium-sized jet that would, like
Oh,
commuter
medium
jet?
sized jet, well, commuter jets, there's no reason why them ever be here.
Okay.
Unless something we don't know about.
Well, unless you find something that you.
I might find something to do on
Yeah.
some money.
Right, right. I just want to make sure you got room.
I know, one thing I wasn't clear about, you know, you're interested in the main hangar, okay, but if you bought or built your own, you know, if we leased you some property, built your own building, would you still want to keep the main hangar? Or would you move your operation out of the main hangar to your own building?
Well, if you built, you know, a building, you move it out of there.
Move everything out of the main
Unless
hangar?
I'd have done something in that building that was conducive to, you know, where I want to stay.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if I was like, well, even if I was doing all kinds of off-airport maintenance and things like that, probably go to your own building, but I can't tell you, it's
Right,
the road.
yeah. Now, if you would move your crop dusting business over here, would you build a building for that?
That would have to be a separate building, I'd build a separate building.
Separate from the one for this
Yeah. I'd
project?
build a state-approved loading facility, the whole thing, that's what I have up north there, state-approved, it's all,
Mhm.
I mean, what you guys are doing out here is kind of, I'm glad you're doing it, but it's not like it ought to be. As far as guys loading and things, you know, because it's still chemical, fuel, and things like that. I personally was a liability for it, so if I built something off airport, this may be all approved
Right.
loading facility, and that's what I'd build here if I did that for that. But that's a separate issue for this hangar and that hangar.
Right.
Would you use our fuel, or would you have your own fuel set up?
Usually you can negotiate something, the airport use their fuel usually. Airport usually charge you a flowage fee or something, according to how you handle it, they handle it, whatever. You know.
So it'll be negotiable.
Yeah. I'd buy fuel now probably cheaper than you folks buy. I mean, I can tell you where to buy fuel, and how to buy fuel, I can help you, I've been on these airports,
I
like I
want
said.
to talk to you.
I started out when I was 17 doing this stuff, I mean, I'm not very smart, but I've repeated a lot of things and made a lot of mistakes, so, you know, I mean, there's a lot of things that I help you with on some of this stuff. It's like fuel and things like that, fuel farms and things.
Well, if we can't come up with some kind of an agreement, or we can't get people comfortable with you taking over the whole main hangar, could we, is the offer on the table, or can we come to some kind of agreement where you could, since you're willing to buy ground, put your own strip in, would you be willing to put up a building and use our strip out there?
Well, it'd be a possibility, but
Okay, I know what you'd like to do.
I haven't been operated up here. I come here in my airplanes, operate in the summer, send you some money for buying for the fuel we use, and I leave. That's what I know about Paris Airport. I'm the kind of guy, I work and tend to my own business, and I don't even like reading the newspaper because I get mad, so I mean, I don't know you guys. You say you guys don't know me, but that's why I'd like to work up here a year or two and see how we all get along before you go ahead and sink, you know, $750,000 or something, you know. Because if I put up my own ground over, it's mine.
Right.
and I have no problems. And if I come up here and I have problems, I don't want to die saying I have problems, but if I do, so I need to know who I'm working with, you know. I've been on some airports, they've been the greatest guys in the world. I mean, like down in Arkansas, West Memphis Airport, I've been there 14 years, met the airport people once, my whole life, you know. And over in another part of Arkansas, I've been worked up at Danville, you know, around. So I mean, Terre Haute, we've had our ups and downs, we've had years, 10, 12 years, we're in love, and then we fight for a couple, and then we get back at it, you know. So I mean, I feel people, see what you guys want, what you expect, you know, I'll tell you what I want, what I expect, so we can figure something out.
Well, right now, we don't have a provision for any kind of a commercial business at the airport. That, correct? I mean, we don't have a contract, we don't have. any-
No,
Right.
no, I'm
and-
sorry, I misunderstood.
Right, and there'll have to be some things, how quickly, I guess my question is,
That's what I.
you're wanting to move, and you're like a lot of aggressive businessmen that I see, you want yesterday. I mean, because you got your ducks in a row now you're ready to start getting
Well,
things going.
I'm kind of a little different than that, because right now, you gotta remember, I'm dealing with the US government on this deal. This project was gonna be done about 5 months ago, and every time they tell me 2 more weeks. You know, but I really think we are down to getting it done. I can do it where I'm at. And I can do everything where I'm at, but I don't like doing it the way I gotta do it, because I gotta haul stuff down the road. I gotta move airplanes in and out all the time. I gotta work on an airplane, and then move this one, do that one, set customer stuff out. And I can stay where I'm at for 3 more years and do the same thing I do, but I don't like doing it. So I can work 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, you know, that kind of thing.
But the sooner we.
The sooner we
should
can figure out, if we
Figure
start
out what
now,
we need to do, if we're gonna get together, the better off everybody's gonna
we
be.
start now and figure out what we can do, then we'll know.
That's why we wanted to hear from you, all of us, tonight, and not wait another week.
Well, that's why I wrote you guys that letter, because I don't know what's going on, and who to talk to, any little board, or even Superior County Board, but just let you know I was interested in doing something, to figure out what we start talking about it anyway.
Okay.
I'm always available, so if you guys, you know, so if you do this or do that, or you wanna do this or do that,
How close are you on that contract, Carl?
I don't know, it's up to state's attorney's office.
Oh, it is? I mean, okay.
Yeah, we've
You basically got.
tweaked it and then set it back up there.
Hmm?
We've tweaked it and
Oh,
set it back
okay.
up there.
these airport leases, just to inform you, there's a lot of, every airport, state just about's got commercial people on their airport, and they have contractors, if you call it managers, they'll probably send you a copy of their lease, and you guys could take 10 of them and take the good parts out and make it, save you a lot of attorney fees, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And they'd be glad to help you most all of them, so, yeah, send you a copy of this.
We do have one in the works, but I'm sure that we can always improve.
Right.
Carl?
And depending on, you know, if we do have a business in there, you might have to make some changes depending on what type of business and,
Right.
you know.
Right.
Before, we were looking at partial, you know, renting part of it, and now, you know, if we end up renting it to Mr. Mills, then we're gonna have to change that, and might have to change on the usage fees, and, you know, just
Right.
different things depending on what the situation is.
I've been on airports where I've had 2 or 3 businesses, one of them couldn't sell fuel, one of them could only sell parts, one of them couldn't do maintenance, one of them could do all, these are different leases I've been under, and a couple of these leases have been on the same airport with different corporations that had things, so. Because there's a guy selling fuel there, you wanna protect him, so you don't need to come in and start selling fuel with him, unless I could match his, whatever equipment he's got, things like that. So I mean, it's, yeah, there's, like I say, there's a ton of airport managers got leases that you could grab and change a few names and words and help you a lot.
Well, we have an obligation to make sure that that public airport, and that's what it is, serves the public.
Right.
And one of the things that we discussed the other night, when you and Carl were talking, was that if you came in and eventually became FBO or whatever, or that's what it evolved into, then one of the things that I've got that's worrying me is how are we gonna be able to allow other crop dusters to come in? We'd have to have a pretty much
Well,
airtight contract.
fixed base operator doesn't serve, that's fixed base operations, that means he might sell fuel, he might do aircraft maintenance, he might do flight instruction,
Right.
on and on and on. that's what that word entails, and then you have the individual entities in that. And like crop dust, you do that, I mean, I wouldn't be, just because I operate or had a building, I would, be the only one doing that.
Right,
Couldn't
right,
restrict
and you'd
you out.
be,
It's
you'd
a
be
federal
willing to work with those other
Well,
guys.
it's a federal airport, you can't stop people, you see what I'm saying?
Right, right, I understand that.
If you, eventually, if you get airport minimum standards, which you should, I realize it's a small airport and you haven't done it, but you should have a set of airport minimum standards. And what that would be is if, say I came in and was gonna work on general aviation airplanes, I bought all the equipment, all the tools, put it in a hangar. And, you'd say, well, a guy's gonna work on general aviation airplanes, he's gotta have, this tool, that tool, this equipment. Then another guy couldn't give him a pickup truck and work on it. That would be minimum standards, another guy coming in to match it. You don't have any of that, so you don't have any, so now there's no problem with anybody doing what they want. On a federal airport, anybody can pull in and do anything they want on the ramp themselves. I mean, I can stop out there and overhaul engines on the ramp, if it's federal, or change a wing, until you get minimum standards, and that's something that you guys are not involved into yet. So, you can't be restricted, is what I'm saying.
Right.
Can I ask a question?
Sure, go ahead.
Jim, do you still have the West Memphis, Arkansas place?
No, my son runs it.
Okay, that's the, why the two on the website.
Yeah, him and another guy, they're doing all the work down there, so eventually I made him a deal, I gave him my phone number.
Okay, but I just saw it on the website.
He got all the tools, the building and stuff like that, so he runs it, so now,
Okay, so it wouldn't be displacing anything like that, or the
No.
place in Tennessee, or anything?
no, he contracts for me now.
Okay,
And
yeah, it
Rob's-
looks like it works together.
And Rob,
He charges his contract, now he charges the hell out of it.
no respect, is there?
Pirate.
Any other questions? Dale, do you have any? Oh, go ahead.
Jim, I've known you for years from over flying in Oklahoma as a flight instructor. I think you're a good businessman.
Thank you.
I'd like to see you get into the airport up there. Now, I know that on the west side of the airport, there's a long yellow building right there that was for sale not too long ago.
Mhm.
I think someone went in and purchased it now.
Right, yeah. they-
Someone bought that and they're putting, I don't know, bags of seed corn.
Yeah, they're
There are a lot of rumors. That is a very long building. I don't know if they're using all the building or not inside there, but there's a big trolley goes all the way through, a big lift.
I
going
looked at
into
that
there.
earlier, but it wasn't set up to what.
It wasn't set up.
what it needed.
Well, I was thinking if they had a short taxiway from the end of the runway over to it, that it would be a valuable building. I mean, type to do a lot of maintenance in and everything like that.
Yeah, people could do maintenance in it, but it's kind of like a T-hanger deal where you got, there's not.
Yeah,
enough
there's
room
no big
there.
door to get into it.
There's
is there?
not enough room, doors, and frankly, time you buy a door, you bought a building.
But I don't know about building one compared to that one and being on the airport property was what I was thinking about. If you purchase something like that, maybe if you even had to modify it some,
I'd
you
look
could
like
use
that.
something like that.
I looked
You've
at-
already looked at that.
I looked at where that fella bought it, and it just wouldn't fit too well.
It was expensive, I know that, for the square feet and everything, because it's so large,
Yeah.
larger building. But it is adjacent to the airport though, for
Most-
storage and everything, it might, Yeah,
Airplane
work something out.
stuff has gotta be pretty much purpose-built for it to make things flow like they should. That's why I'm
I just
glad.
You don't have anything, Dale?
go and find out if he was aware of that building.
Just have one quick question. Do you foresee any flight instruction?
If there's a demand for it. Right now, that's a terrible thing for, I'm trying to, my granddaughter's out of the Army. I took an airplane ride and was learning to fly. I've been all over the country trying to find a flight instructor. And there's just so little demand for it, there's just no flight instructors. In Danville, a guy's gonna have an airplane ready in summer, we'd go clear to, Greencastle. Find somebody, I mean, and like I say, I used to have 300 students alone, I had 60 instructors. And it's all college stuff and nobody's getting money. It's just, but I'm not saying there wouldn't be a guy, we wouldn't have 117 flight instructor. Like, I'm gonna have one pilot out there all the time, so flying, is gonna fly for me doing stuff. this and the other stuff, and I ain't saying that he wouldn't like it. I mean, you know, it's just, if there's a demand, I put this, if there's a demand, there's gonna be something there. Thank you.
Jeff, you got anything else?
No, sir.
Carl?
I was wanting to see if maybe Dale, you could maybe, we could set up a time where he could come out and meet with you and, you know, talk about, you know, some ideas and stuff and,
Basically, anytime,
you know,
just
name it. We'll have him get a hold of
Are
you.
you the?
He's the interim
You
manager.
stopped by my place the other day, nobody called me, I was driving around the block after waiting for him to dig the snow out. Truck and trailer, I went past you 3 times. He's trying to, we had to set it, when again, off the airport, we had to set a room center, we had to take to Georgia.
Mhm.
It's in the snow, you know, 100 yards back, I got 10 guys out there, I'm paying $25 an hour to shovel snow. I can't get that trailer in, so I go around the block about 2.5 miles, so he can't visit me. I mean, see, that's the kind of stuff I wanna get away from, is, I can live with it, but it's unhandy.
Mhm. But you guys need to hook
Yeah,
up and talk and, get some ideas and we can talk with him some more about it.
Dale?
No, I just wonder if anyone else here had a comment. Or quiet, there's a good crowd back here.
Mike?
Nope, no, I don't think so.
Anybody? Not, we'll move on.
I sure appreciate you coming.
Yeah, I
Taking the
appreciate you talking to me there.
time.
Just,
Thank you.
Throw it out here and see if I can throw some mud on the wall, see if it's stuck.
I think, I see that there's interest if you can get together on a contract and get
Well,
an
if we make
agreement.
it work for you and make it work for me, then that's, you know, that's what we gotta do. I'm interested in looking at it, if you guys are interested in helping out, so.
Okay.
All right, thanks a lot.
Yeah, next step would be for you and Dale to get together and see what you
And then
come
we'll
up
do
with.
our due diligence.
And,
Go right ahead.
and you met all the guys on the airport committee, I think, right?
Well, who is on the committee?
Us 3 right here.
I know you.
Dale English
Hi, Dale.
and Jeff Boyd.
We met about 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Our wives love horses.
Yeah, you
Remember?
look familiar.
Yeah.
I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, well, we both got older since the last time I've seen you.
I've got prettier and you probably didn't.
No, it's ugly as hell.
I have a little hair problem since I first met.
But you're welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting. If you need to take off, you know.
I'll talk this fella back here maybe or something.
Okay. All right, yeah. Talk with Dale and you can maybe exchange phone numbers and contact. All right.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Next item 7. Thank you.
Thank you.
Remove from the table the following motion made, 1/8/14, authorizing county board chairman to execute agreement with Hanson Professional Services Incorporated for airport projects.
Mr. Chairman, I move to move it off the table so that we can consider that motion.
Second.
I've got a question before we vote on it. If that's all right.
Well, if we're not
Well-
following Robert's Rules of Order, then that's okay.
Well, as soon as the motion made in a second, you can discuss it.
Okay,
Not to bring a motion off the table.
I thought we already did that.
Okay,
Okay,
No,
you
we
tell me
have
when
to
the
vote.
time.
all right.
We have to vote first.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Item number 8 is authorize the county board chairman to execute agreement with Hanson Professional Services Incorporated for airport projects.
Well, I'll make a motion, and then maybe it'll get a second, and we can discuss it.
Yeah, that's,
I move that we authorize the chairman to execute the contracts as alluded to.
item 8. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, now discussion.
Okay. We're gonna give them a retainer? Is that what we're gonna do?
That's a different resolution.
Okay.
That's this one that
Okay.
you've got here. These are the two that we got the other day on Tuesday or Wednesday. What day did we get these back?
We got them on Tuesday, I think we Salt Wing. Okay,
Okay, these are the ones that have to do with the two projects at the airport.
right. But the
This
way I
one-
understand it is they no longer, they've expired and we have to redo them and we have to pay them a,
No.
okay.
Okay. I called both Waller and Worley, managing partners, to talk to them about, well, the project engineer is Worley, and Waller is associate partner. What we have with them, and it just expired, is what you have there is the 5-year, it can be 3 or 5-year association with this firm.
Okay.
Okay? That we have to advertise, bid for, et cetera, and that package includes all the information that we have to do for that.
Okay.
These contracts, this one, oh, that one and this one are the ones for the two different projects. We called and asked and said, number one, do we need to wait on executing this one? They started this under the old contract. They said no. Plus, we need to get started on this so that they can get the plans going by fall, so that we can start working on this project.
Okay.
This doesn't preclude us from doing this. Okay, we still have to do this.
Okay.
This
For
is
future projects.
for future projects.
Anything in the future.
Okay.
Thank you, Carl. These we question because the total engineering fee is $77,700 and some dollars. $77,700.
That's on the fuel island.
And on the apron.
Okay.
Now, my big question was why are we looking at that kind of engineering when we thought it was gonna be 65?
Okay.
It is actually 62.3 is their best estimate. We're still tied to the 5 and 10% depending on which project. So everything is appropriate for what we see here. We also additionally ask them, considering some of the questions that have been answered or asked, is there any issue with us going ahead with this? Obviously, we don't want to be spending money if there's an issue.
Right.
They said, no, there is not. Their cooperation and their contacts with the state of Illinois, they're proceeding with it. The money is available, and that it would be appropriate for us to do that at this time.
Okay. And we're still, as a county, for our, what is it, 62,000 obligation, we're still go on that as far as.
We still have that mechanism
Okay.
that we'll then have to do in the next couple of months to put ourselves in a position to pay for our particular 5 and 10% portion of these contracts.
Okay.
He did tell me very specifically that one of the main reasons that they wanted to have us go ahead, the state wanted us to do it, was for safety and soundness of the airport. Okay?
Okay. I just, the reason I'm asking these questions is I don't want to write checks and then find out that we're not gonna do this.
Right.
So, in the best guess scenario is that everything's fine, we're gonna go ahead and do it, and it's full steam ahead.
I've been assured that that's the way it is.
And,
Carl and I were, been in contact off and on this thing. The chairman asked me to make sure that we contacted the appropriate people to make sure where we sat on that.
Okay.
And our long-term experience with the state and with Hanson is beneficial to us.
Okay. Okay. And we don't have to pay them a retainer? That, well, I don't know where I heard that, but.
Well, they call this a retainer contract. Okay?
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I was wondering, you've got 2 sets of fees for each contract, right?
Mhm.
So these are correct,
Mhm.
pretty substantial. Reasonable?
Yes, given the size of the project. We're looking at 5 and 10%. Those, if you add those together, don't represent what we're gonna pay though, if you're looking to the total engineering
That's
fees.
what I was trying to do.
That should add up to about $77,700 between the two of them.
And this one's higher than that.
Okay, well, at any rate, so what we're looking at is, talking to Worley, is 62.3. Now, when we go for the financing,
But that's not for both of these.
that's for both of these, 62.3.
Right. That's what I'm trying to
62.3 is for both projects,
Our share of it,
our share.
yes. You know, the total
Right,
engineering might be higher than that, but we still only have
that's my
62.
question.
Yes.
Now, if the total project is another 10 or 12 or 20,000 bucks, then our 5% or 10%, depending on which project goes up, would go up some.
Right.
So what I was gonna say was when we go to finance this, we may wanna give ourselves a little, room in case we need it. I think Jimmy said the last time we had a project, I think we were what, 1,400 more, did it cost Jimmy roughly?
Yes.
Okay, so, I mean, they try to give us the best guesstimates, but I think 14 grand, or $1,400 is pretty close. Thank you, Jimmy.
A roll call vote?
English,
Yes.
Farnum,
Yes.
Helsley,
Yes.
Voigt.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you for explaining that.
I was going to,
You just
but
did
I
an
had-
excellent job. I appreciate it.
Item 9,
Farm the thing.
closed session if we need one. If not, we can skip to item 10.
Is that your recommendation?
Is there,
Is there any need to go into the closed session? I don't know of any.
I don't think so, no.
then I'd accept the motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting is adjourned.
I was gonna talk, yeah, I wasn't gonna talk to him.
That's
Great
fine.
detail.
That's exactly what
And I'll get you the, once I find out. Which sheriff?
Yeah.
Resubmit the grant, give you